Hey everybody, it's me, Miss Secor again. Word of advice, don't ever eat anything spicy before recording a presentation. Today we're going to talk about understanding repetition and rhythm. I know students sometimes have trouble with this concept. So relate it to music. So in music, according to Google, the rhythm is a strong, regular, repeated movement or sound. And this is the beat that propels you through the entire song. So it's kind of similar in art. So rhythm in art, it's the strong, regular repetition of a basic formal element that propels us or leads us throughout an entire image. The key word here is entire image. So in a previous chapter, we learned about patterns. So what are the differences between pattern and rhythm and repetition? Let's talk about those. So a pattern is any basic formal element that repeats itself in a composition, such as line, shape, mass, color, or texture, and that creates a recognizable design or motif. That sounds kind of like rhythm and repetition, but there's a key difference. So in this image, the yellow and black diamonds or design, that repeats itself on the woman's dress. Is this an example of pattern or rhythm and repetition? It's a pattern. Why is it a pattern and not otherwise? Because it's only found on the woman's dress. And because this repetition of squares and that yellow and black squares or whatever they are, that they repeat and repeat and repeat in this recognizable design. So let's find examples of repetition and rhythm in this image. So one of the things that repeats in this image is his use of stripy looking lines. You can see these brush strokes back here. They're kind of stripy looking lines. Here's some more over here. So these are over here. And then these are over here. And then there's these stripy lines in the pleats and in the fringe of the dresses. So they're over here, and they're over here, and they're over here. So these stripy looking lines, they're like everywhere. They're here, they're here, they're here, they're here, they're here. And that repetition moves our eye throughout the picture. But let's find some other examples. So in this image, even though there's this great preponderance of red here, but in all the other colors, there's a repetition of analogous colors that share the primary color yellow. They're found throughout the entire image. So there's the obvious yellow in her dress and her necklace. This brown is a kind of a yellow brown. You can see a little bit of yellow, a little bit of green in it. There's this yellow brown. There's this orange in this dress over here that's got red and yellow mixed together. There's this green and yellow green throughout here. Those have got yellow in them. There's a little bit of this orange over here as well. So those analogous colors, the way they're distributed, they cause our eyes to look at the entire picture. I'm going to show you some other examples of both pattern and rhythm. So this is also by this artist Miguel Cavaro, I cannot pronounce it, Covarrubias, pardon me. So there's both examples of rhythm and repetition and pattern as well. So there's patterns in the women's dresses. There's patterns the way their pleats are drawn, same design over and over. There's patterns in the flags. There's patterns in the hats. There's even a dotted pattern on this woman's, like the smock or the shirt of her dress. And so when you look at those individually, I'm looking at her cap. That creates a recognizable pattern. Individually, I'm looking at this flag. That creates a recognizable pattern, and the same goes for the trim on the dresses and for the pleats. Those are recognizable patterns. But when you look at the entire picture, there aren't pleats everywhere in the picture, and there's not a flag design everywhere in the picture. So we have to then find things that we can find throughout the entire picture. They don't have to be on every surface, but there have to be enough of them that they move our eye around. So let's look. There's curved lines everywhere. The way the caps are drawn and the contour lines that form the wrinkles and pleats and the curves in people's bodies and the curves and the waves of the flags and the curves and the wheat. And there's like curved contour lines that go around these candles. So there are curved lines, or you could say curved contour lines, that are everywhere in this picture. And the repetition of those curved lines creates a rhythm. There's the color white is found everywhere. Well, it's found in the trim all the way around the border of the picture. It's found in the candles, the clothes, or those diapers, the shirts, the caps, everywhere. Even like, so there's a little bit of white everywhere. It may not be in every single place, but it's enough places that it moves our eye around, creating a rhythm. Oh, let me go back. The color green repeats itself. So there's green, green, green. His pants are even a kind of green. Green, green, green. Green's everywhere. And it moves our eye around the entire picture, creating a rhythm. There are directional lines everywhere in this picture. There's a directional line. If we start at the bottom of the wheat and we move up, it leads us to the flag. This flag here, we follow it up, it moves us to the wheat. The candle moves us down to the flowers. The man's curve in his hat leads us to the candle. There's all these directional lines everywhere in this picture. And then there's analogous colors that repeat themselves. These are analogous colors that share the primary red. So purple, which is red and blue together. There's salmon colors, which are like a reddish orange with a little bit of white. There's pinks, there's scarlets, there's more salmon, there's red trim, and there's oranges. So that's, you can find that pretty much if you follow around, even in the dirt on the ground. Those analogous colors sharing the primary red repeat, and they create a rhythm. There's also like red tints in here as well. So there's a suggestion of time and motion that repeats. The kids are running. The people are moving forward. The flags are waving. The wheat is waving in the wind. So that repetition of time and motion creates a rhythm. So I hope this has helped you distinguish the difference between pattern, which is a repetition of a formal element, into a recognizable motif or design, but it doesn't go everywhere in the picture. It'll just be in little areas. It might be the trim of someone's dress, or the pattern on a flag. And then repetition and rhythm, that's something that leads our eye throughout the entire picture. So there has to be enough of whatever that formal element is that it repeats in little spots throughout the entire picture, creating a rhythm and leading our eye throughout the picture. Thank you for today's lesson. Not thank you, I thank myself, but I thank you for listening. Alrighty, goodbye. Oops, I ended it too late.